Hi, this is Connie Jo Sechrist with Bay Area Independent Filmmakers, and today I have a very special guest on my show, Denise Crosby, who is well known for playing Tasha Yar on Star Trek Next Generation, Pet Sematary, and the Trekkies documentaries. Thank you for joining us, Denise.
It is my pleasure.
Now, I know you grew up with a family background in the entertainment industry, but what really drove you into acting? What really got you inspired to do that?
You know, I grew up loving television and films and theater but I think when you have a family name such as mine and you know, it's sort of assumed you would follow into this business, you really struggle with your own voice and your own identity and what is true to yourself. So I think it was a combination of things. I happened to fortunately land with an amazing teacher who I'd done a little modeling in Europe, and this casting woman had reached out to me and sort of said, "Would you think you might be interested in doing this? And if so, I can help you, and here's the name of a couple of teachers to study with." So I ended up finding one guy named Michael Fuller, who was teaching at USC at the time. But it was summer, and he was doing a little side workshop of real acting exercises and techniques, and it just ignited me, and you know, I never looked back from that point on.
Exciting. And how did the role of Tasha Yar on the Star Trek Next Generation change your career?
Well, that was the first series I did as a regular character. So that is unique. Of course, Star Trek just took off and became just this iconic television show, and we weren't sure that it was going to, you know, work, having a revival of the TV show. It hadn't been on the air in 25 years. So, but it worked, and people really responded, and you know, I had the chance of playing the chief of security, which was this very traditionally had been a male role. So this was opening doors, and at a time, you know, in the 80s when women were again striving for equality and for being taken seriously, and you know, was riding the wave of that.
That's interesting. I didn't know that that was originally for a male role.
Well, it's, you know, traditionally has the chief of security of, you know, in those positions have been male. And you know, Gene Roddenberry was always trying to break barriers and stereotypes. So he had this idea that why wouldn't she be a woman at this point? You know?
Yeah, because women are tough too.
Yeah, but they're absolutely capable.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And your hologram goodbye scene, I have to say this because the guy I'm seeing right now just loved that scene. He actually said it was the best death scene on TV that he's ever seen.
Oh.
So I just want to say that to you. But I watched it, and I loved the monologue that you portrayed in that. And how did that make you feel as an actor, like your death and losing your character on the television station?
Well, you know, it's such a unique opportunity. I mean, you most of the time, if you've been on TV or in a show and your character dies, I mean, that's the end of it. You don't get to come back and do a monologue about it.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself is so unique. And that monologue was so astounding. It was almost as if the writer was channeling me, because it was very personal, and it was very much attuned to each one of those individuals that I was talking to, as if Denise was talking to them, not Tasha Yar.
Yeah.
So it was very, very special, very special.
Oh, that's awesome that it touched your heart in that kind of way.
Absolutely.
That's probably why it was so good, because it was actually, it meant something to you personally.
Right. And as it always, when you can have that experience as an actor, you know, for yourself to be genuinely moved,
Yes.
or angry or touched genuinely by the piece you're doing, then I think your performance is gonna reflect that.
Yeah, and that's what we strive for as an actress or an actor. We strive for those kinds of moments
Right.
in films or television series that we're doing.
Hello, my friends. You are here now watching this image of me because I've died. It probably happened while I was on duty, and quickly, which is what I expected. Never forget I died doing exactly what I chose to do. What I want you to know is how much I loved my life, and those of you who shared it with me. You are my family. You all know where I came from, and what my life was like before. But Starfleet took that frightened, angry young girl and tempered her. I have been blessed with your friendship and your love. Will Riker, you are the best. You trusted me, you encouraged me, and most of all, you made me laugh. Deanna, you are capable of so much love. You taught me without ever having to say a word. I realized I could be feminine without losing anything. Ah, Worf. We are so much alike, you and I. Both warriors, orphans who found ourselves this family. I hope I met death with my eyes wide open. Beverly, your fierce devotion comes from within. It can't be diminished. From you, I have learned to strive for excellence, no matter what the personal cost. Wesley, I'm sorry I won't be able to see you grow into the exceptional man you'll become. But your kindness and innocence are ageless. Geordie, in those moments I felt the most despair, you took my hand and helped me to see things differently. You taught me to look beyond the moment. My friend Data, you see things with the wonder of a child. And that makes you more human than any of us. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, I wish I could say you've been like a father to me. But I've never had one, so I don't know what it feels like. But if there was someone in this universe I could choose to be like, someone who I would want to make proud of me, it's you. You who have the heart of an explorer and the soul of a poet. So, you'll understand when I say, death is that state in which one exists only in the memory of others, which is why it is not an end. No goodbyes, just good memories. Hailing frequencies closed, sir.
And are you still connected with any of the actors on the Star Trek?
It's funny you should say that. Yeah, yesterday I just spent an afternoon with Gates McFadden, who is played Dr. Crusher. She is a incredible theater director, and we worked together on a play a couple of years ago. She directed me in, and so I did a reading yesterday afternoon of a new play that somebody's interested in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we see each other, pretty regularly. And then the rest of us, we all see each other during, conventions or something. I'm going to see Jonathan Frakes at the end of the month in Atlanta. He's directing something there, but I'm going there for a Walking Dead convention.
Yes. I was so excited. Walking Dead is one of my favorite television series right now on TV, and
cool.
I was so excited when I saw you as Mary in Terminus. How was that experience, Walking Dead? Let's talk about that.
Well, it's so funny because I had never seen an episode of The Walking Dead when I got cast in it. So
Yeah.
I thought, really, what is it about this show? And so I sort of binge watched 3 seasons right away, and you know, it's just so gripping, and you really get into these characters, and I loved it. So everybody was great. It was just, you know, they do an amazing job. They just know what they're doing, and they just get it done so quickly. They make each thing looks like a movie, you know, each episode, and
Yeah.
you know, they're just all so talented and good. It was quite the experience.
Be not so pale. Be not so sorry for what you've done. You must forget them now, it's done. And when you wake up, you'll find that you can run. Be not so sorry for what you've done. Be not so sorry for what you've done.
Hi, I'm Mary. Looks like you've been on the road a while.
We have.
Well, let's get you settled and we'll make you a plate. Welcome to Terminus.
The men they pulled from that train car, where are they? Where are they?
Now, point it at my head.
You could have been one of us. You could have listened to what the world is telling you. You lead people here and you take what they have and you kill them? Is that what this place is? No, not at first. It's what it had to be.
And we're still here.
You're not here. Neither am I.
They're very guarded with their material, as you know, you can imagine, because the internet is just, you know, abuzz with anything The Walking Dead and any leaks of anything. So I was asked to sign a pretty hefty non-disclosure agreement, which, you know, prevented me from talking about anything that I was doing, and I couldn't even tell people I was doing The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So for my audition, they wrote, the writers wrote a very specific piece that was used only for the audition. It had nothing to do with The Walking Dead. And
Interesting.
I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
Or actually, that's not true. I've seen it since. There was a pilot that I was going to read, that I read for over the summer. That was an HBO pilot that is since, I think, is not going to be made. And they gave me, for my audition, a scene from The Marathon Man.
Huh.
Had absolutely
So-
nothing to do. I didn't know what character I was really playing
Yeah.
in the show.
Yeah.
It was just do this. And this may be the wave of the future. You know, nobody's going to give you the actual piece that you're going to be performing. They just might want to, they're looking for quality or something.
Yeah, because, you know, you hear about these days, like you said, everything's on the internet, and you don't want spoilers and
Right.
and stuff like that. So it's technology has definitely changed the way of television and film in general.
Absolutely.
Definitely has. Now, if you were approached to be in the new Star Trek movies, which I'm sure that you enjoy watching, Would you take on one of those roles? Would you?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that would be such a fun thing to do, to come back and revisit and continue. I think the fans would get a really, big kick out of it. They love when all that crossover stuff happens.
Yeah, definitely. Are you enjoying the new series?
Yes, I've only seen the first one, so
okay.
I need to see the next one, and of course one is being made right now as we speak. If
Yes,
not,
I
if they
think the
haven't
third one
finished,
is
yeah,
currently being made. Yeah.
yeah, but they get great actors to, play the bad guys, and yeah,
yes.
I got to see it.
Yeah, it's a good.
I'm
it's a
kind of
good,
so much to see, I can't keep up.
I know. I find that happens to me too. People always ask me, oh, are you watching this show? Are you watching that show? And I'm like, I just don't have time.
I know,
Like,
that's.
I don't have time to watch these shows.
There's so
I'm
many
busy.
good ones now.
Yeah, it's a
I know.
lot. So it's like my DVR is like probably really stacked with a lot of recordings that I just need to sit down and binge watch one day.
I know, yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary was one of your biggest, studio production films that you did. Now I heard that they're doing a remake of
That's
it.
been rumored forever. I don't know.
Is that true? Are you going to be in the remake?
No, I mean, I haven't seen anything. There've been mumblings about that for years.
Yeah.
Whether they do it or not, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll
I was
see.
just wondering.
We'll see.
But yeah, and I noticed that Hollywood is starting to do that more. They're starting to remake older, older generation films. Some are okay.
So it's very hard to do.
some are okay.
I haven't heard anybody that, is on too much on the remake bandwagon these days. They tried with Carrie. I don't think it worked.
Yeah, the Carrie one was okay. I like the older generation films. Like, God, The Goonies is one of my favorite films. Princess Bride, those are just genuine films that I hope Hollywood never remakes because
Yeah, I know. But it's like
don't
good.
touch it. If it's good, don't touch it.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. Now you made the Trekkies Diaries.
The documentaries.
The documentaries. I'm sorry, the Trekkies documentaries. What has been your weirdest fan moment with that? Because I know that, with Star Trek came this whole generation of fans that, kind of became like a cult in a way. What's been your I guess your most interesting fanboy moment since you've
Well, I
been
mean,
doing
in
it?
general, Star Trek fans are just very kind and benevolent, and truly are sweet about their devotion to this show that they love, and it's enriched their lives, and they're grateful for that, and they've made friends, and it's given them, the conventions have always been this place where they can just sort of let their hair down and be who they are and not get judged, and it's gotten much more acceptable in since I've seen it all take place. As a matter of fact, it became like cool to be a nerd or be a geek. That all these people were building huge successes, whether Microsoft or Apple or whatever. Those guys were the nerdy, freaky guys that loved Star Trek. And so it shifted the sort of perception of all of this. At the same time, there are obsessive people. And one time, I remember early on, I ran across a guy who had my picture as Tasha Yar, my sort of classic press shot, completely tattooed on his back.
Whoa.
Covered his entire back with my face. And I didn't know if I should run or hide, or I was like blown away. And that guy is out there somewhere with, me on his back.
that's a true fan right there.
That
'cause-
is,
'cause-
that, you better hope you don't change your mind, you know?
Yeah, because you have that. Well, they have. I mean, they have tattoo removal services now, but
That's a major event,
That's
that one.
major to get
And
that removed.
lately I've been seeing a lot of pet cemetery scenes tattooed on people's bodies.
Really
Very interesting.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's like, really? You want that on your thigh? Okay.
To each of their own, right?
Yeah,
To each of their
that's
own.
right. That's right.
And you started off doing more stage
Mm-hmm.
acting. Do you still do stage acting?
Yeah, I'm a member of Ensemble Studio Theater, which is a longtime theater company. And like I said, yesterday I was doing a staged reading.
Yeah.
You know, not a stage reading, more of a workshop read of a play. And I always try to keep my hands in theater. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And what do you like about theater versus television and films versus, you know?
Well, I
there-
mean, I love the part about probably the most great, the most unique thing about theater is you have a live audience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas film and television you don't. You have your crew,
Yeah.
but you know you don't really have the response of an audience or the feel of what you're doing and people sitting and taking that in. And of course, with theater, you have a beginning, middle, and end that you complete that night. You know, so you have this experience you go through as a person each night, where television and film are just much more cut up and disjointed. But I love film. I love watching films and television. So you can tell a story in a different way that
Yeah.
way. So I wouldn't want to just do one or the other. I kind of like all of going back and forth between them.
Very cool. And do you have like a favorite director that you've ever wanted to work with, as far as film or television or?
Boy, there's some really interesting people. You know, I think that I really like some European directors or some Danish directors I've seen recently, and French. Well, Belgium, I think they're the two brothers, the Dardenne brothers. American directors, I love Paul Thomas Anderson and gosh, you know, what other films have I been seeing that are so amazing? The Americans, you know, it's changing so much because there's so much action stuff with American films. So when you find like a small, you know, maybe Jason Reitman's making interesting films, or
Yeah.
Woody Allen still, you know, to this day. Yeah, somebody, you know, that tells really kind of a humanistic story.
Yeah, I agree with you. Things are changing a lot. You know, we have all these superhero movie films now with a lot of action and CG, and it's like, you know, sometimes you want to take it back and you want to have like a real person story,
Yeah.
you know, come
Absolutely.
about. So that's why mainly up here in the San Francisco Bay Area is mainly independent type of films. Now, would you prefer to be more in an independent type of film or more of like a big Hollywood blockbuster film? Like,
Well, I again, you know, they each
Yeah.
have their own beauty. I think you would want to explore both. You know, one isn't necessarily better than the other. It's just what is your role in this? And you know, generally speaking, the smaller indie films are telling stories that are a little more riveting to me, more compelling. But there is something, you know, that about a big studio film where you can, you know, they have all the bells and whistles, and you're kind of that's the kind of tale you can tell. You know,
yeah.
it's fun to do all of it.
Yeah, and if you ever had a chance to play any kind of type of role our character, what kind of role would that be?
Gosh, I really like characters that are complicated and need you're not quite sure what it is about them, that they're complex and they're sorting through it, or their lives aren't so neatly wrapped up in, a little package, that they're compelling because they're so complex. Those are the characters, that really are thrilling to play and challenging.
Yeah, something with a little challenge or push behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And what's new for you? What's coming up in the?
Wow. Well, I've completed this show, The Magicians, which comes on Sci-Fi in January.
Okay.
And I hope to do some more of that character. And I've lately been doing, the third season of Ray Donovan just ended. So I was doing a recurring role on Ray Donovan on Showtime. And my episode of Scandal is coming on TV.
Excited.
Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could, I don't know, write or direct your own series, would that be something you would be interested in the future?
I don't think I could write and direct a series. I mean, my hat's off to these guys that really, it's very, very difficult to do. However, like I was saying earlier, if I were to do another series, as a regular, I would start to learn the craft of directing. I think that, I've dabbled in a little bit, and it's really challenging and fun.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for being here and coming and
pleasure.
talking to the theater students as well. And I wish you the best of luck with your endeavors in LA.
Thank you so very much, and you.
Thank you. Thanks.